Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lori and this is my garden, Main Street Gardener. And today I've got two really fun projects. I got out here early. It's going to be a hot late summer day, but I am here in my Dahlia seedling patch. I have a couple patches across the garden, and what I want to do today is flag some dahlias that I want to save tubers. I also want to bag some dahlias. So I want to talk to you a little bit about seed saving. It is such a fun, easy way to get free plants for next year. So if you've never tried it, stay tuned. I want to just tell you my really easy process. The second thing I want to show you is I just got a brand new flower press. It is one that I ordered off Amazon. Actually, my mom got it for me as a gift, and I'm going to unbox it and we're going to press some flowers from the garden today. And I thought then in a couple of weeks or a month, I would show you how they turned out. I would love to create some boxed prints of some of my flower images. I'm kind of refreshing my dining room area, and I just thought that would be really fun. So to get started, let me tell you about these gorgeous dahlias. So this is a dahlia that I saved the seed from some seeds that I purchased from Florette Flower Farm. I'll put a link to her YouTube channel. Amazing content, amazing flowers and seeds, and everything she does is just beautiful. So I purchased a couple packets of her dahlia seeds and I grew them last year and they were stunning. So then I decided to actually save some seeds. I also saved zinnia seeds. I think those are two of the easiest, but you could save any seeds from any plants that you are growing. So a couple things I want to do with these dahlias. First, I've got some just ribbon. I just had this pink ribbon. What I want to do is tag a couple of these dahlias that I absolutely love. So I really love this pink one. Now let me explain why I'm tagging them. So last year I grew the dahlias in a big raised bed and I saved seed from some of the dahlia heads. That would be where you just decide to let this dry up, gets all brown and gross, and then you cut it off and save the seed. The issue is this has been open pollinated, so the bumblebees are jumping all around. So this one is one that is not a Floretta original, it's a Lori original. So it is one of my, see the bumbles on there now, cross-pollinated dahlias. And I love it. I think this one is gorgeous with the dark pink underneath. So I want to tag it so that I can save the tuber. That way the tuber is going to be the original stock of this particular dahlia. So I want to try to save the tuber. Now the second thing I want to do is I have these little organza bags. See these little bags? You can get these on Amazon. I'll put a link. They're super inexpensive. And what I'm going to do is actually bag one of the new buds, probably this guy, or maybe this one is a brand new. I want to bag it so that after it opens, the bumbles are not pollinating it, cross-pollinating it. And I want to let it then go to seed. That way I've got the original seed of this dahlia. So there's kind of two ways to do it with dahlias. You can save the seed or you can cover up and protect one of the blooms. Now, that's really how easy it is. Last year, I saved three of the dahlia heads, three, and out of that, I got so much seed. You could actually do this with just one flower. You're going to get enough seeds to start an entire new garden for next year. So all of this mix here were from my plants last year, and about 90% of it is actual seeds versus tubers. I did save two tubers and they are doing amazing. One is right here and I just cut it back, and so it is starting to flush back out. And then I have one over in the other garden. But from those cross-pollinated plants, I got some beautiful dahlias. So let me show you up close the two that I want to save today. Okay, so I already mentioned that I absolutely love this guy. So I'm gonna make sure that I save this. And then I want to show you right over here. This one is really unique. It's got this apricot pink. Now this is an older bloom, but there's some more in the back. Here's a fresher bloom. I just love these. I think they're so beautiful. This has been a profuse bloomer. You can see all the buds I have. It's just been gorgeous. I actually have another plant down here on the ground. It's doing fantastic. So what I want to be sure I do is I'm probably going to bag one of these, and then I'm going to make sure I tie a string around the base just so I know. Because so when you have a grouping of the dahlias like this, or even just dahlia tubers out in your garden, when fall comes, you've got to let these die down. So you've got to let them die to where they look yucky and gross. And sometimes you're not going to have any color left. So if you don't mark it, you're not going to know which tuber to save. The reason this is so important in my garden is I have a ton of these red ones. I do not want to save all of those. I actually had more red. Red, I think, is such a strong color and the bees love it. And so in my mix, I would say 75% was the red. There's a couple reds that are really pretty, the shape, and I'm going to save probably one, but I don't want to save all of these red plants. So what I want to make sure I do is tag these. Now, if you're growing dahlias from tubers in the ground that you purchased, you can do the same process. So I would encourage you to tag the dahlias you want to pull up if you need to and save. Now, if you can keep your dahlias in the ground, you still want to tag them so you know which ones to leave in the ground. Now, if you're going to save seed from your existing dahlias, you can do that. So if you purchased a dahlia tuber, you let it grow, you can save that seed, and you'd want to decide, do you want it to be a mystery plant that's been cross-pollinated? Then you could save and let one of these dry up. If not, then you want to bag a bloom so that you get the original flower the way it is. So I hope that all makes sense. It can be a little confusing. Just remember, if you save a seed that has been out in the open, the bees are bouncing around and you're not going to get this original. You may get a variation of it. So if you want this original, save the tuber or bag a bloom and then you'll be all set. It's as easy as that. All right, so let's get started in this patch and then we're going to bounce around the garden. Okay, so now that I got this marked with a ribbon kind of down in the base, I'm going to go ahead and bag one or two buds. So I think, okay, so I got the little apricot ones bagged. Now I'm going to come in and make sure I've got the right plant. And the bees are getting angry at me. I don't want to get stung. So you just put the bag over it, and it's got these little side pulls, and you do want to make sure it's tight or snug against the stem, but plenty of room to still open up. And that's all there is to it. You can just leave it like that until it comes out. And then once it starts drying, you can take it off. Or you can just open it a little or cut it, and then you'll have all your seeds inside. So that's another way to do it. Now, I have a garden group coming this weekend. So as soon as that's over, any future blooms I get, I'm probably going to bag them to save seed. But for today, I'll just do these two in this patch. Let's move to another area of the garden. So look at how much those bees love that open-faced dahlia. That's one reason I love the dahlia seedlings. But this plant I love. It is like got the mix of the red and the pink, and I just think it's absolutely stunning. So I definitely want to tag the plant. So I'm going to do that first, and then I may try to get at least one bloom bag today. If not, I can come out in the heat of the day and pop one on. So let me see what I can get done. I'm going to So this is one dahlia plant that I grew from my seeds from last year. And so it's not a mixed one, but I am going to tag the stem where I know I'm getting that gorgeous color in case there's two tubers in here. I think I only planted one, but we're gonna be sure. So let me show you up close. There's my little pink ribbon on the base of the plant so that as I cut it back, I'll know. So it's right down there. And then I came up and there's a new group of buds forming. You want to get them before they've opened up and the bumbles have gotten them. So I have a couple more on this plant and I'll get more blooms. September is like peak for dahlias, but I wanted to go ahead and take care of this before I forget, and that way I can get some great seed. Now you want to be sure that you tie your reminder ribbon down low because as fall comes, you'll start cutting this back. It will start breaking, drooping. It's just going to look bad. So you want to be sure you keep it down low so that you know exactly where that tuber plant is when it's time to dig it up, or if you're going to just keep it in the ground. Because this whole mess will get to looking really bad, and I'm going to be cutting things back and then letting them dry. And once that happens, I want to know where that tuber is. So I'm sure I'll be doing some fall cleanup with you, and I'll let you know the ones where I saved, what it looks like. So we'll cover that together this fall. But this at least is getting it started so I don't forget while I have these gorgeous blooms. All right, so I got that project done. I really wanted to flag a couple of these before I forget. It's also a great time, the 1st of September, to go ahead and get this project done because you never know when fall will hit and maybe your plant just crashes, you cut it too deep, you don't remember. I've had all of that happen. I've waited till October before, and then things get so busy in the garden. So it was a reminder for me to make sure that I got this done today, at least those really prime, especially dahlias that I want to save. All right, we're going to go down now and look at a flower press. If you've never used one, I haven't used one this large. I'm excited to try it and then come back in the garden and cut some blooms. Okay, so my flower press that I got this is the brand. I will include the link in the description in case you're interested in it. What I really like about this is the size. I haven't had one of these large ones before. So it comes with this beautiful engraved. And by the way, my mother got this for me as a gift. This is not sponsored. So this is the top. Now, if you were going to make one of these at home, it would be so easy. Just get whatever size you want, drill the holes. I'm going to show you how to put it all together. Then it comes with what they call the sponge. And this is like just a piece of styrofoam. It's real thin. And then the place where you put your flowers is like a mat board. Feels like a piece of mat board that you would use in a picture frame. Now they do recommend blotting paper, which is just tissue paper. So once we put our flowers down, we'll put this on top of it, and then we'll put our layers. And then we have our bottom layer. Mine got a little wet. So this is the bottom. And then you've got all of your bolts that come up through to connect it. And that's all there is to it. So you could easily make one of these at home yourself. I think it would be really fun, a fun project. If you like woodworking and can drill some holes, that's really all you need. So I think there's a cicada in the tree right now. I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors, go cut some flowers in the garden, and we'll come back and layer it together. And then in a few weeks, probably about a month, I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so to get started, I grabbed a bunch of little bits from the garden. I may even go get some more. I want to try some hydrangeas. If you've ever dried them, let me know. I dry them indoors, but I want to try pressing them. So we're going to do that. I do have a trick for you that I read about for woody stemmed plants. So I've got a couple hydrangeas. I have this one that's already started drying. It's beautiful. I want to try doing some of my butterfly bush. I've got some different stages of blooms. And then I've got an entire bucket with just a mix of flowers. So we're going to get started. I started kind of small because I just want to get the hang of this and see how it goes. All right, so let's do the first layer together. We're going to start by putting our soft board. This is the soft spongy paper. Oh, actually, we need to put these in first. See, I'm already messing up. So you want to be sure you have your brackets in first. So we're going to put our washer on, and then we're going to put this in, put the top on it. Okay, so you just want that screwed on nice and tight. There's the back, there's the top. Okay, we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so I got all the brackets in, made sure they're really tight so you can see behind. And then you can see these. Now, one thing to know is you don't have to fill it all the way to use it. You can slide the top on even if it's half full, press, take those out, fill it up when you have it. It doesn't matter. So that was one thing I was worried about, is that I was going to have to fill it and I may not have enough plants at one time, but you can layer it. Okay, so our first step is going to be to add our soft foamy stuff. So we're just going to place that in. And then we're going to add our mat board. So this is kind of like a soft mat board. It's almost got a felt-like feel. So I'm sure you can find supplies online. You just place this in. All right, and then we're going to start placing our flowers. So let's get started with some in my container. And when you think about pressing flowers, I've done this in books. You can do it a couple ways. You can place the flower face up, but you can also do it face down. And I think that was a mistake that I didn't know the first time around. So I'm going to take off a couple of the bottom stems. And I'm actually going to come in and just kind of lay that guy like that. And then this bunch, I can just break these apart. You also can go with the shape of the flower. So this one, I think, this little bitty one, I think I'm also going to press it kind of down. I like to kind of squish it. Now you could tape it also, but we're going to be pressing it and it should stay in its place. This one, I'm going to try to press it open and we'll see what happens. Now you can put them pretty close together. That way you can maximize your drying space. So now I'm going to come in with some of these bits. And this is an anemone flower. It's so pretty. I'm going to try to open it up. Press it down there. I have some zinnias. Thought these were so pretty. I think the trick that I did not know before was the upside down trick, so that definitely helps. I also have another trick with woody stems, so we'll do those in just a minute. So you can see this large container can hold quite a bit. Now these butterflies, I'm going to put those down. And you want to take off whatever greenery you're not going to use. So imagine this in a print. You can also cut off any stems that are already just not real pretty. Kind of clean up your flower. And I'm going to put this one maybe down at the bottom. Okay, I think I can do a couple more bits. So I've got this little bud. I'm going to stick that in there. This little seed head is already drying, but I'm just going to go ahead and add that. I thought these little, this is a type of Veronica or Salvia. I thought those were really sweet. So, let's see if I can get that in here. Now, I do have some Dahlia petals, and I may want to use these, so I'm going to pop those in. Let's see, I think this Dahlia, yeah, all the petals are coming off. So we'll just pop some of these in. I think it's so fun to see how this is going to turn out. I have no idea, of course. Okay, so now we're going to add our blotting paper. This ensures that you don't damage your board. So we're just going to do, it's like a sheet of tissue paper. So I'm going to put this on top of everything. And again, you could use some tape if there's some particular flowers you want pressed a certain way. All right, everything looks good. All right, and then you're going to put your foam piece on top. Go ahead and sandwich it together. And then we'll add our second layer. Okay, for this one, let's talk about some woody stems. So what I'm going to do is take off some of the greenery. And what I learned, and I'm not sure, I may want to use these skinny scissors. Let's try mine. You can cut off half of the stem. That way it will lay flat. Now, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not sure I can do this, but I'm going to try to just kind of cut off some of the stem. The idea is that you get it where the back is flat. This works great, they said, on roses, on hydrangeas, on peonies. Now, of course, I've almost cut the whole stem, but I think that's going to work. And that's just going to help it press flat with the stem. I did break it, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it in there because in a print, if I put this in a framed, I could just glue that right there. Okay, now this one is a fatter stem. So for these hydrangeas, I'm just going to kind of press it with my hand to get it started. It also lets any bits kind of come out. And you want to cut off any parts that you don't want. Now, if you want some leaves so that you could do a print with this, then you would just want to pick some really pretty ones, kind of fit those in. All right, so we got this layer done. Let's go ahead and do our tissue paper. And then we'll do the next one, and I'm going to try to do a dahlia. Okay, so I was able to get mine filled with all the paper that they gave me in the package. Now I have some tissue left. I think that this one could hold probably maybe 3 more layers. So I'm going to look on Amazon and see if I can find replacement felt and the matte paper. I'm sure you can purchase that, and I'll just make sure that I get it the right size. I think this is like an 11 by 14. So I'm going to check the size, but I'm going to order a couple more because I definitely have room for them. Now, of course, these flowers may be pressed a little flatter. Another tip that I realized after I got halfway through is if you have bulky flowers, you want to alternate them. So you would put some, where their heads are up here, and then the next one you put the heads at the bottom. That's just going to keep it more balanced. So I didn't think about that till I got halfway through. But for today, I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to see how these turn out. We're going to go ahead and put the top on. Just get it all lined up. There we go. Press it down. So we got it all pressed. Just so you know, it does not come with brackets to hold this down. So if you were filling it fuller and you really wanted some weight on it, you could get some screws that you could put on the top to press it down. You could also just sit something heavy on it. So I think I'm going to take mine and inside and just put it in a nice, cool, dry spot, probably in my dining room somewhere. Do see some little bugs. And I may just sit a book on it just to make sure. But it's pressed in there. These guys have nowhere to go. And I think it's really fun. If the tops being up like this bother you, you could also they make some soft screws that would cover the top in case you're worried about somebody poking themselves or poking their eye. That could be an option that you could add to it. Now, again, the kit does come with some tools and some craft items. I'm going to look at those later, and it does have some nice directions. So just a couple projects today that I just wanted to get out here and enjoy, kind of enjoying the garden in a different way. So thinking about seed saving, thinking about saving your flowers this time of year as we're approaching fall. I think it's fun to think about ways to enjoy the garden year round. So if you have questions about seed saving or the flower press, just send me a comment and let me know if you dry flowers. I'd love to know your technique. Thanks, everybody. Bye.